Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey,
And I'm Jacob.
and today we are back, sort of with Superman. It's a one shot. We got an actual one shot, a one shot on Fresh Face One Shots. Imagine that. We got House of Brainiac, the House of Brainiac special. This is House of Brainiac Part 2.5.
As the cover says in the upper right-hand corner.
Love that. Love that. Clearly, they had no other way to slot this in, so it's here. But it works. It works.
I was going to say, I am actually kind of... I was a little worried going into this, just because I had, after reading the last Superman issue, I had read, what this was going to be. This was going to be, this is going to be basically what's going on Earth while the last Superman issue is happening. And I was a little...
First off, it's not entirely that.
Yeah, it's not entirely that.
The first chapter of this one shot alone, it kind of took me by surprise in what it was. But then, yeah, I mean, it is about the people in Metropolis, after all of our supers have gone missing. And also, I think it's just doing some important groundwork for some of the things that haven't been focused on as much in Williamson's Superman run so far. And also, I did not expect this at all, setting up absolute power for July. So, I mean, hey, it's cool, I guess, if you're reading Absolute Power. I probably will, because I read every summer DC event.
You read a lot of big events, yeah.
I do. But yeah, I mean, we might cover it on the channel. I don't know. We're talking about it. We'll see. We have a lot of things going on in the summer, comics-wise. So.
Yeah, we have planned some stuff, and if we're going to be honest, we might. I'm a little worried we may have overplanned.
We might have completely overlooked the existence of another big summer DC event, but also it's by Mark Waid and Joshua Williamson and Chip Zdarsky. I personally am very interested. So, entirely beside the point. House of Brainiac. Here we go. So, chapter 1 is called Secrets of Zarnia because, yeah, we get some Zarnia backstory here.
And if I'm going to be honest, of the thirds, this was probably for me the weakest.
Really?
I think it was good, and I think it was necessary. But I also, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Lobo as a character.
This video's over now. You're not. Yep, it's over. Yep, Jacob. I think you can do this on your own now. Wow. I never thought I'd hear you say that.
I'm not the biggest fan of Lobo.
I'm somehow genuinely offended right now. Wow,
Look, I get him. I appreciate Lobo for what he is. I am not that interested, but I think some good stuff here. I think he does. I also look. It did not help that then this immediately gets followed up with some great character, like especially great superhero supporting cast character work for the bulk of the Jacob,
Lobo.
Yes,
and Zarnia's, and also I love this Trib character. I fucking love this person. Like, holy shit.
They are awful. I was gonna say they are awful, but that sounds wrong. They are awful in the best way.
Yeah.
It's playing around with the idea of an immortal. I mean, immortality would lead people down a path of evil, basically. Also, this bitch sells her own people, like a city, to Brainiac, and that's just,
Which is also cool for seeing how some of these other Brainiacs that are on the Council of Brainiac have been interacting with the rest of the DC universe, apparently throughout history, which I find really interesting. But yeah, totally sold her people, their people, I don't know, to Brainiac, and yeah, that's all you pretty much get as far as backstory. But also this shows us, like, how, where all these different Zarnians came from in the present, because Brainiac's kind of had them all these years.
How Zarnia was destroyed.
And then we have the second chapter of this.
So
campaign headquarters, which first off we spoiled for me, you dick.
I didn't mean to. This one's not written by Joshua Williamson. This is written by Mark Russell. But look, I thought you would have already started reading.
I know.
Reading, okay?
I've had an incredibly busy day, and I have another incredibly busy day tomorrow. Didn't have time to read this early on in the day. That's all. But anyway, you told me that Bibbo Babowski was a campaign manager, and so I kind of got on reading this immediately. And yeah, Bibbo Babowski, hard name to say fast, is is Perry White's campaign manager,
or assistant campaign manager, or in charge of the. Bibbo's bar
somehow. he's involved somehow. But also, am I misremembering something in previous Superman issues by Williamson that like? Remember, we also kind of setting up Perry White doing some shady things with his campaign for mayor?
Yeah, no, we were setting something up. This isn't doing that, so I don't know if the plan has changed.
Or I mean, we're also mostly seeing this story from the perspective of Bibbo Babowski.
Yeah, we're seeing this. We're seeing this from Bibbo's perspective,
who kind of just sees the best in everyone.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing in the story that precludes Perry doing some shady shit with.
Yeah, exactly. However, it does. Explicitly paint his mayoral opponent, Garen Blake, as the one you should definitely be rooting against.
This is an election. It's being released in 2024. There are some, shall we say, unsubtle parallels to the current American political climate. But
oh yeah. I mean, the first thing we see of this Garen Blake is a big sign that says "Garen Blake for mayor of Metropolis, aliens for deportation."
Honestly, it feels like Mark Russell as a writer was like, okay, people have tried to be subtle in painting what certain candidates want. I'm not going to be subtle. I'm not going to use dog whistles. I'm just going to have this guy be outright the worst. And you know what? It works.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. It does what it needs to. I do love this scene then when
there's both a Joe Rogan parody and a Elon Musk parody on Twitter parody.
Yep. Oh, where's the what's the? Wait, no, I'm trying to think of the line. There's a great line. Hang on. I can't find it now. Screw it or whatever. Anyway, but I do love this bit then when Bibbo and Perry are in the bar and there's this like Garen Blake supporter that just like runs into the bar, yells like Garen Blake for mayor, losers, and like Perry White brings up a great point. And he's like, when it turns out like say you do get rid of all the aliens, when it turns out that you're still working a job you hate, racking up bills you can't pay, raising children who still look upon you with pity in their eyes, who are you gonna blame then? And he's like, Garen Blake for mayor, losers. It's a great moment.
And you know what? I will say, I love going back a little earlier. The scene at the planet where it's like, do you think where you have Ron Troop interviewing Perry? It's like, do you think your successor as editor in chief, Lois Lane, is going to be fair to you? And then Lois waltz in, judge for yourself. The independent political amateur joins race. It's like, well. It's Lois.
Yep. She's not going to pull her punches. Yeah. But then we get a scene of a Garen Blake campaign rally where there are aliens watching nearby, and
I didn't realize current DC Metropolis has like an alien, like an alien population, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like. It's not something Williamson has included
yeah. I mean, it's just one of those, like, I guess, like, DC Universe constants that you kind of have to just, like, take into account. It's like, yeah, just...
Oh, no, I really like it, though. I like when stories like these, because, like science fiction and fantasy in general, that, like, try to be set in the quote-unquote modern day, will include some of their just genre stuff. And not try to necessarily hide it, like, just as a normal thing, we'll have a slightly different status quo to the status quo of the regular world. Because, it's something that I think certain franchises have this problem of wanting to reset a status quo that is too close to our world in sort of this vein.
But just like letting it be different, it's a nice change of pace, and it especially works for a story like this.
It allows the obvious allegory to work as well. Yeah, also, I really like the designs of these aliens. Like,
yeah, right, yeah, they're fun.
They're very fun. Hey, James Gunn, maybe add some aliens in Metropolis in your Superman film.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But
we also get such a really nice flashback to Bibbo as a kid.
I love the dialogue leading into that when he's talking to Perry, and Bibbo's like, I've been working this bar since I was old enough to drink. It's since before I was old enough to drink. It's the only reason they served milk here, so I could have someone to drink with, something to drink. As far as I know, only one other person ordered the milk here. Point being, you never know who you got something in common with. Of course, referring to Superman, I love that idea. Superman just coming in and ordering milk, and it's really sweet. I love it. Yeah, just puts a smile on my face. It's nice. But we get a great scene actually then between Lois and Perry. First of all, I love this page, this like stark white page of just like drawing Lois and Perry and like the reds and blues there, and it's really cool. It's nice. But yeah, and then the commentary is obviously not lost. But yeah, that sort of like purple alien is like in the crowd.
Of the debate turns violent because certain rhetorics of certain popular political parties are generally encouraging of violence. It's not subtle, but it's well done. I find the ending specifically interesting. The guy that like sees this and that supported Garen Blake and like is genuinely shocked by that and kind of changes his mind about it. It's a really nice moment to have. Overall, really nice middle story. I think this is the longest of the three.
It's the bulk of the one.
For a reason, because the first one is largely setting up the backstory for where the rest of the event's going, and then this last one that we'll get to, I'd argue is probably just setting up Absolute Power.
Oh, definitely.
Because I know the last couple of big summer events have had like Amanda Waller in the background.
Yeah, she's been a big part of pretty much every major DC event. Well, she was more so in the background of Dark Crisis, and she's also kind of in the background of Night Terrors. She played a big role in Beast World, and now she's going to be a really big part of Absolute Power. So we see in this last story here, Signal, backed by Joshua Williamson, as he's one of the big writers on Absolute Power. Brainiac has been watching Amanda Waller and the Peacemakers, and Amanda Waller's been reporting to this council that I forget, did they show up in Night Terrors at all?
I think they might have briefly.
I think they showed up at like the very end when Dr. Death showed up.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Dr. Hate. That was it.
Yeah.
So she's been talking to this council, and she finally finds out who they are. And also, there's a fucking editor's note here reminding that War for Earth 3 exists, and I hate it for that alone. But
was
otherwise,
War for Earth 3 bad?
It was not good. It was a Titans event. It was really bad. Anyway, it was a Titans Academy event. Fucking hated it. Anyway, Amanda Waller finds out who this council is, and it's the Council of Brainiac. Surprise, surprise. Which actually is a surprise. But I really am enjoying seeing how Williamson is sort of tying all these big events together. Like, it's not just like, I don't know. I kind of like that these past few events have felt like more connected than, say, many other DC events throughout history have.
Williamson is basically doing what worked for Jeff Johns on his Green Lantern run.
Oh, most definitely. Which actually is really works for us right now, because we're doing some Green Lantern things on the podcast. Coming up soon on the main podcast, Fresh Face Comics, we have our next Jeff Johns Green Lantern block coming up, where we're talking about the preludes to Blackest Night, like Rage of the Red Lanterns, Agent Orange, and then we're talking about Blackest Night itself. And they've been some fun reads, and obviously also really important to DC history, as I'm assuming this will be in the very near future.
Yes. I'm again. I really, really hope this event, House of Brainiac specifically, continues to be great. Because,
Amanda Waller cuts off her ties with the Council of Brainiac, and we get our first. Actually, I think this is our first proper look at the Queen Brainiac in this event so far, isn't it? On the very last page, here, as they're putting her together. It says to be continued in Action Comics 1065 and Absolute Power Ground Zero. As to whether or not we're covering Absolute Power on the channel, we haven't decided yet. We might not, because as I said, we have a lot of comic plans for the summer, and especially in July. So it's it might be a little tough to squeeze in, but I mean, if not, maybe we could catch up on it. in not long after it comes out. Maybe if
I was gonna suggest maybe we do like maybe I'd read it, but we wouldn't try to do it as it comes out. Just do a at the end summation
work.
type.
Yeah,
that
could work.
Just to say because other one shots coming this summer are a lot.
Yeah,
we're adding in a.
Basically, I'll say this. We can say this, right? We're adding an ongoing to the one shots lineup and a mini series to the one shots lineup, and we made these plans before we realized that absolute power was going to be really, really important. So,
but I also there are also two things that I definitely want to cover.
These are things that like we're really passionate about adding to the lineup. Where like absolute power, you feel like you need to do for the sake of reading current DC, and we'll definitely be reading absolute power, I'm sure. But as to whether or not we cover it on the channel.
We'll at least be covering the Superman and Wonder Woman tie-ins.
That's true, because we kind of have to. Which actually transitions me nicely into plugs. Because check out other fresh-faced one-shots that we do. I can't speak. It's been a long day. Superman by Joshua Williamson, obviously.
Which means including Action Comics 1065, which I believe is out next week.
Yeah, I believe so.
If not the week after.
It's one of them. That Wonder Woman by Tom King, and then Batman the Brave and the Bold by various people. So check all of those out, and also check out the main podcast, which I've already plugged in this video, and check out our socials and everything. We'll have our link trees in the description below. You can check us out there. Subscribe to Blood Donut Studios, and thanks for the support, everyone. It means a lot. I guess that about does it. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
And Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.